Hello and welcome back to J.P.'s Retro World. I am your man J.P. and it's Saturday and I've got some time on my hands. The wife's out hanging out with some girlfriends of hers, and so I've got some time on my hands. I figure, why not do some videos? So right now we're going to be focused on a little bit more of the retro and it's actually more of a general subject, and it's actually basically just childhood in the 80s and the 90s. Mostly the 80s, because I was a child in the 80s. I am a child of the 80s, and I was a teenager of the 90s. So, now, my man Jason up over at New 80s Revolution has already covered this subject. But it's one that I kind of wanted to do myself because I have specific memories. And that is playing outside when you're a kid. That's right, especially during the summertime when the weather is nice outside. You know, you go outside, you hang out with your friends. And one of the big deals back then is having a bike, like a bicycle. And every kid my age, that was like the ultimate Christmas gift. It's getting a bicycle. But when I was younger, like a little kid, before I could even ride a two-wheeled bicycle, I would get a big wheel. And for those of you that are too young to remember big wheels, now big wheels was like kind of like a plastic three-wheeled bike that you'd ride around. And they all had like different themes. Like at one point I had a Knight Rider big wheel, which was kind of cool because the front of it kind of looked like the front of Kit on the TV show Knight Rider, and that was really cool. But I wear them out pretty fast because I rode everywhere. Because that was back when you could let your little kid ride around outside, and you know they were relatively safe. I mean, stuff still happened back then, but you know it wasn't as bad as it is today. But yeah, I got a big wheel pretty much every single year for about 3 to 4 years because I wore them out pretty fast, and like every year I needed a new one. But yeah, I got a Knight Rider one. I think one year I might have had a Dukes of Hazzard one. You know, basically a lot of the cool like 80s shows from that time period. I had a themed big wheel. So I'd ride around on that thing, and then I remember when I learned to ride a two-wheeler, that was a big epic day, because I remember my first two-wheeled bike. It was a Huffy. It was like a red Huffy dirt bike. And I would ride around on that thing like crazy. I mean, I love that bike. But playing outside, yeah, man, like when I was a kid, you know, I'd go out to our backyard and I would get a bunch of Hot Wheels. And back then I had this big green felt bag full of Hot Wheels. And I'd go outside and I'd make little roads in the dirt from my Hot Wheels, and I'd drive them around and make little motor sounds with them. And I had this little fold-out service center with a gas station and a garage on it. I'd fold that out and play with that in the dirt. And just hours and hours of fun. And out back, you know, that was where the high school was. And so they had, in the middle of the field, the high school, they had these two sandboxes, which was really just where the high jumpers or the long jumpers would jump. But I just looked at it as a sandbox. So a lot of times I'd play out there in the sandbox, and you know, it was fun. It was stuff little kids do. And you know, playing tag and you know, playing hide and seek and you know, kid games like that it was just fun. It was a fun deal. And that's when, you know, I'd get up, like I've said on before this channel, where I'd get up on Saturday mornings and watch cartoons, but then in the afternoon I'd go outside. I'd go outside and play. And it was just epic fun memories, and you know, and that's actually where I discovered these WWF LJN figures. Now there was a kid in my neighborhood. There was this little kid just down the street from where I lived. Like we lived on this one street, but all the way down at the end of the street in the neighborhood, there was this kid. And now I don't remember what his name was. I just remember that he had a bunch of these LJN wrestling figures. And, you know, he had the ring. So one day I rode my bike down there, and he was playing with them outside. And I'm like, whoa, what are those? He's like, yo, these are WWF wrestlers. I'm like, oh, can I play? He's like, yeah. So I sat down with him, and we played LJN wrestlers. And I had so much fun. That was so much fun. So many memories of that day. Just playing with these wrestlers, and because they're rubber, you know, you could kind of bounce them off the thing, and you know, they would lunge forward, and you know, we didn't need a bunch of articulation. We didn't need like bendable wrists and stuff, you know, because we had these LJNs. We didn't need any of that stuff. But like I said, I also had, you know, Hot Wheels. I had He-Man well, actually, I should say the kid across the street from me had He-Man figures, and I was really good friends with him. And him and I were both big into He-Man. You know, I liked He-Man. I liked the Flintstones and Transformers and G.I. Joe and GoBots. I watched all those, you know. And didn't really, like I said before on this channel, I was never really into, you know, Thundercats as much. I know it was really popular, but I don't know, I just never really was into it as much. But there was, you know, a ton of other shows. You know, the Dukes of Hazzard and Knight Rider were two big ones. Greatest American Hero. Man, there's so many shows. But this is about playing outside. And I've kind of gone off the rails. But yeah. Especially when the weather was nice, being outside on my bicycle. And that, like I said, that was when you could let your kids run around, right around outside in your neighborhood, and it was fine. No, you know, you didn't worry about them. You didn't really worry so much about what would happen to them, because it was a different time. It was a different mindset. And those days playing outside were just amazing. You know, we would do camping trips, be outside, you know, and that's back when kids actually enjoyed being outside. And since I'm no longer a kid, I don't know if kids still like to play outside. But with the invention of the smartphone, a lot of kids are spending a lot of time just looking at their phone screens and stuff. But we didn't have those. We had toys and we had bikes, and you know, we went outside. So anyway, so yeah, I know, kind of rambling, but you know, what are some of your memories of playing outside? That's what I want to know, because it's something that, you know, I used to do, and now I still go outside when I can to enjoy, especially when the weather's good. Get out and enjoy some sunshine. I'll walk, put some headphones on, and listen to music while I'm walking, get some exercise. So anyway, leave them in the comments below. And if you're new here, please go ahead and click that like button and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. And I will see you next time.